You know about Paper Mario. I know about Paper Mario. Do I really need to go into how the first two games were imaginative masterpieces that stand the test of time and have garnered near universal acclaim? And how the sequels had been comparatively worse to the point of ultimate alienation of the core series as fans? Do I? No, I don't. So I won't. Wait. So Paper Mario the Origami King looks different. Different from Sticker Star and Color Splash, which is good, but also different from 64 and Thousand Year Door, which is... Let me give you some context. I know I joked at the start of the video about not needing to explain the plight of the Paper Mario fans, which I don't, so I won't. Nevertheless, allow me to lend a little insight into my own personal stance on the matter. Growing up, I wasn't all too familiar with Paper Mario. I saw my friend playing Thousand Year Door at their house one time, though I didn't inquire as to what it was and just sort of accepted it at face value, until they found a save point so we could play Soul Calibur 2 anyway. And I remember that same friend sharing their plight a couple years later, that Sticker Star was nowhere nearly as good as the previous entries. I didn't discover the Paper Mario series and all it has to offer for myself until around the time I was in high school. I got Paper Mario 64 on Wii Virtual Console, and it simply blew me away! I went into it without any preconceptions about how it would play, how the story would go, what characters I'd meet. It was like reading a great new book, watching a sweet new movie, and playing a fresh new game all in one. There were so many great moments, so many great discoveries, so many things to enjoy. I won't spoil it in case any of you out there haven't played it for yourselves yet. I myself have yet to ever even play through Thousand Year Door for myself. But I will. One day. When I can either afford a good condition GameCube, GameCube controller, memory card, plus a decent copy of the game. Or until Nintendo re-releases it. But until one of those instances occurs, I shan't be spoiled on the game's plot. By the way, Super Paper Mario seems cool and all, but it just doesn't appeal to me at the moment. It's definitely not like the first two, but I'm sure it's okay. Fast forward a couple years, and I've never played any of the subsequent Paper Mario entries. I've taken it off good report that they simply wouldn't live up to the expectations that 64 set for me. Fast forward again to October 2017, and I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey. And while that game was great for reasons that are different from Paper Mario 64, I recognize that many of the unique beats, characters, worlds, and concepts weren't unlike Paper Mario 64. By the time I reached the snow level, and I'm not counting that as a spoiler, because come on, you didn't expect there to be a snow level in a Mario game? I started imagining how the new settings and character races might be implemented in a new Paper Mario game. Same with the worlds I had visited prior, and the worlds I would visit later on, in all their wonderful yet spoiler-ridden splendor. Odyssey made me hopeful that when the time inevitably came for the Switch to get a new Paper Mario game, that Nintendo might take influence from their past success to inform the new experience in the same way that Odyssey and even Zelda Breath of the Wild had. Now skip forward to a month or so ago. Nintendo announces, with no fanfare and no build-up, that Paper Mario, the Origami King, would release in a little over a month. This threw the Nintendo speculation and coverage scene on the internet into a whirl and a half. Is it a return to form? Is it another Sticker Star? Are partners back? Badges? Interconnected worlds? Disposable moves? World map? Hub area? Things? What's the deal? While a good number of these questions have since been either answered to a degree, half-answered, or remain up in the air, the one thing we could see for certain from that initial trailer is that the game would be narratively driven. An interesting villain is shaking up Mario's world and motivating the plot in a way that Paper Mario hasn't seen in a long time. And that's good. A Paper Mario game should be a Mario story, as was the mission and even Japanese title of the game I fell in love with on the N64. However, the general vibe I get from all the trailers, info, and footage we've been getting is that the game still centers a little too much of its attention on the arts and crafts aesthetic. People argue back and forth online as to whether or not the paper motif is detrimental to the Paper Mario experience, but that debate feels null to me. I don't care one way or the other how far the paper motif is centralized, so long as it doesn't detract from the story and gameplay. Paper Mario fans have largely taken issue with Sticker Star and Color Splash for shirking their stories in exchange for focus on utilizing stickers and paint, respectively. It doesn't look like paper folding will detract from or even be the primary informant of battles or progression, so it seemingly checks out on the gameplay side. What worries me is that it certainly looks to be a central focus of the story. Interesting things can certainly be concocted with this creepy origami conversion cult concept, but to what end? Unlike Super Mario Odyssey, I have yet to see any characters or settings in the game that stand out as distinct from the generic mainline Mario fare. I have yet to see anything that suggests chapter-based narrative progression, as is the case with 64, and sorta, kinda, but not exactly, but still comparatively, like Super Mario Odyssey. I have yet to see a scenario that isn't simply a run-of-the-mill dungeon deal, or a generic Mario enemy turned paper-themed boss terrorizing a town of toads. In fact, the only facets of this game that shake up the Mario formula that can be gleaned so far are these bosses that are just things from the previous two titles. A case of colored pencils, a roll of tape, a doll made of rubber bands. Again, I won't spoil Paper Mario 64, but there were so many memorable events, scenarios, boss encounters, discoveries, etc. That appeals to me so much more than what's being shown for this new game. Nothing akin to the memorable moments from 64 are being teased for Origami King. And it feels like they're also actively hiding whether or not this will be an XP-based level-up progression system. A huge complaint players had with Sticker Star and Color Splash? How ultimately pointless it was to have enemy encounters in those games. The amount of challenge, strategy, reward, and even enjoyability present in those encounters were either zero or nigh zero. Thus, there was no necessity to be found in engaging in them. I'm sure many of you watching have had your fill of YouTubers ranting about battles in Sticker Star and Color Splash, so I won't break them down and dissect why they're lacking. If you haven't, check out any of these videos here. I'll even link them in the description for ease of access. To summarize, I had hoped after playing Mario Odyssey that the next Paper Mario game would finally go back to its roots of turning generic, banal, cookie-cutter Mario level settings inhabited by generic, inconsequential, innocuous NPCs and enemies into interesting, believable, engaging locales inhabited by distinct, innervated, individualistic characters. Excuse me. Hello? Oh, hey. Yeah. Yeah, you loaned me your thesaurus the other day. Yeah. No, yeah, I'll return the... Hey, hang on. Hang on. In conclusion, though I have yet to find out whether or not Origami King will provide a good, if not great, video game experience, I can safely assume that it will not provide an experience akin to the kind I got with Paper Mario 64. And that disappoints me. It doesn't make me mad, or leave me feeling empty, or invigorate me to take action and demand that the series adhere to my preferences. It just disappoints me. And that's just the way it is. I can't help it. But I can make a YouTube video about it, I guess. Do remember, though, that I'm just one guy with one perspective to offer. So let me know your feelings on the matter, too. Are you disappointed? Sad? Mad? Frustrated? Or are you even happy? Hopeful? Or could it be that you're totally apathetic toward Paper Mario as a whole? It would be pretty weird if you were, and you made it all the way through this video. Anywho, if you liked this video, I think you know what you can do about it. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. It gets tiresome hearing it, I know, but it does help me out in ways that you cannot even begin to fathom. So do what you can should you feel so inclined. Until next time, see you next time I see you.
Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you'll be back for more. I hope to see you there, and I'll see you next time I see you. There. Hopefully.